Detmer. I'm a sophomore here at BYU, and today we're going to talk about gun control and how we can make those requirements more strict and how we can control these shootings, right? So in 2005, there were an estimated 5,000 gun shows out, right? And at these gun shows, over a 2-day period, 1,000 guns were sold or bought out, right? But the thing is, at these gun shows, there are no background checks that are done. Any civilian can go in there, whether they have a bad or good background check, right? Whether they've done stuff in the past, whether they haven't, can go in there, purchase a gun, and go back home, right? So I think number one, that's the main area we need to focus on right now, because these mass shootings, we don't know. I mean, they could have gotten them. FBI probably knows where they've gotten them, but they could have gotten them at a gun show where there was no background check and the seller was just looking for good money to get the gun sold, right? So I think that's the biggest place right now that we need to look at is these gun shows and getting that loophole figured out. So first off, stricter requirements. I feel like there's background checks that are done, but I think last month we had a case in Orlando with the mass shooting. The man was on FBI watch, had been on their watch, had some problems in the past of threatening and terrorist whatever type of chance or something, right, where he was threatening people at his work. And we kind of, we looked into it, but then I think we kind of just brushed that off, right? And then, however many a year, a month later, after those things had happened, then we get this shooting, and then we're wondering why did it happen? What was the problem? Well, you know what? He was, he had some problems, some issues, and we just let him buy guns, because he didn't have maybe some felonies or some sort of crimes that he had done in the past, but he did these instances at work that I think we just kind of brushed off, and I think stuff like that those things need to be on the requirements. If there's any sort of problem there that can cause a red flag, that I think they should not be able to own the guns, right? So now, along with the mass shootings and stuff, I think there needs to be, with the requirements, I know there's the Second Amendment, right? Right to bear arms, but I think at this point in time, there needs to be a line drawn. I think law enforcement, we need that power in our law enforcement. They need to be able to carry a gun, open, whatever, free. I don't know, but there needs to be law enforcement. And if you own game, or if there's your hunting game, that's another instance, right? But if you're of that high authority, I think, the law enforcement stuff, you should be able to own a gun. But other than that, I think right now we need to cut down on the people owning guns, because it's just right now we don't know who owns guns. Just about everyone owns guns, and it's just and we're having these shootings and we're having police killed, and it's not right. It's not good. It's not good to the U.S. And along with that, I don't know if we've had many instances with this, but I feel like it's a very I think it's a very important topic to talk about. I mean, I think Army vets, ex-Army vets, those that were in war and those that have been in the military and stuff that come out, there's cases where they do have, I don't know the exact terms for it, but where they are real startled from. I had a teacher in high school, when the fire alarm went off, he would hide under his desk, and stuff like that, because it's just, there's those flashbacks that come back. And I don't think that they should be able to own guns, at that time, until they are, at a certain point where they can handle it, because they get set off, and then you don't know what's going to happen. They're just in that zone. So I think that's another huge part of the gun control that I think we should look into. But other than that, with these now with the mass shootings and these police killings, it just needs to be especially with the police, I don't like to see this, I understand that because I took a police class in high school. I know that they're to shoot to kill, but it's just, um, there's other ways to go with enforcing a civilian and going with that. But I think that if a cop or a police officer is in one of those situations or in a case like that, they need to be, stripped of their weapon for at least, I don't know the time period that they want to do that, but they need to be stripped. Like we can't have that. We can't have killings because then it leads to civilians, retaliating. Which should they retaliate? No, and that's where they get their guns, and it's just there should be, I don't think that the Second Amendment should be bothered with, but there should be more. There should be a lot more control and a lot more strict requirements, and we need to pay more attention to who's owning guns and who isn't, because it's just. We have these mass shootings, and then we're wondering why did it happen? How did they get the guns? Well, shoot, there's all these possibilities, like all these opportunities for them to get guns with background checks and stuff, and it's not how we should operate. So I think the United States will figure it out. I think we'll do all right, but in the meantime, we need to really narrow in on what we need to do to get our gun control better.